In his introduction to the book, David recommends reading a given poem at various tempi in order to derive a whole variety of nuances and meanings from it. And he suggests that the first poem that I'm about to read is an excellent candidate for that experimentation. Unfortunately, because of time constraints, I'm just going to give you the canonical rendering, the reading by which all others will be measured. This poem is called Only. Only small gods in grass floor chapels, floating through open roof, open air, smoking, in small volcanoes, exchanging sacrifice for accident, waiting, in wrinkled bark of ancient trees like totem grandparents. We are only warm, sweet metal earth, sun and stars and nothing more. You will wait and watch us, nothing more. And I wrote that while I was traveling. I was on this island called Inishbofin, which is off the west coast of Ireland, a beautiful stark island. I do a lot of writing when I'm traveling. This is a poem that I wrote to my girlfriend Maureen when we were planning a trip to Santa Fe a few years ago. I hope you're dreaming of New Mexico, like a Cocopelli sleepwalker who bumps into a wooden chair one night in his adobe hut. If it was daybreak, he would see the chair was painted simple, light blue, quiet, waiting for the sun to set fire to the mountains. So of course you go on these trips and you find out what the place is really like. This is what I wrote when I got back. It's called Gathering Flowers. I am appropriating your culture for this poem, Gathering Flowers, while you sell soap to white ladies in the dust-red shade of your adobe boutique. You spin sculpture and earrings and pure silver pendants that you pitch in a bowl bearing crosses, Cocopellis, and American flags, crimson-fingered suns, skulls, and hearts, and a Harley-Davidson. There's t-shirts adorned with truckers, Kachina dolls, and Red Hot Chili Peppers, Jim Morrison, Geronimo, and some Franciscan saint, Sitting Bull sitting next to Kurt Cobain, Tippecanoe and Taylor Swift too, Shiprock and Kid Rock, Bobcats, Bob Marley, Beyonce, and Kanye, and always those damn Grateful Dead dancing bears. All mixed up like a Santa Fe brunch. Huevos rancheros and a caramel macchiato. All mixed up like the stars in a coyote sky. All mixed up like that act of thievery we call the New Mexico state flag. You are a catechist today, corn dancer tomorrow, tossing that old conquistador Jesus back in the tomb, dressing Earth Mother Mary in a glorious autumn dress, painting her moccasins amber for the harvest, just like the Bible tells you so. Yes, I am appropriating your culture for this poem, Gathering Flowers. I promise. Please, keep appropriating mine. This next poem is called Smooth Glass Child, and it's a companion poem to the one that I'm going to read following. You reach with transparent hand for a balloon curving light around you. Arms outstretched, you spin like fine silk near the window, but it's not enough to press your hand against the pane. You must draw a flower into dew, clinging the edge, because you are a smooth glass child. And I wrote this at the same, sometimes when I'm writing a poem, I realize that I'm actually writing two at the same time, and I have to split them apart. And it took me a while to realize that. This is the other half. It's called Made of Glass. We walked to the car in surprising late April snow, leaving Danny at the bar, estranged and drunk. You don't seem worried about him. You'll get a ride to your parents. It's better there. I'm not lonely, you say. We are always alone. But today we were walking down the sidewalk together. Today we are walking down the sidewalk and I can see your footsteps are made of glass. Not flesh or beak or bone, but glass. They settle on the sidewalk like melting ice, beautiful like you and your lavender knit cap and ivy drip that slips out from out your sleeve. but I still believe your footsteps are glass, not stone or shell, but glass. And you say, I may break, which is what we all should say, but now you must, because it's true. Your fingers are translucent, fragile, and I can see the bones, light passing through them. You were blown hot, red hot, set in a kiln until you cooled. The steps you take are glass, not clay or mud or stone, but glass. All of us are glass, pretending we can't be broken, but you said, yes, I may break. You said it, I may break. You said it, I may break. I may break, I may break, I may break, I may break. And now I'm sure someone walking just behind us sees the glass footsteps we both make. This next poem is called How We Remember Our Bones. The bones are chalky wind that expose the oak leaves' prickly, dry white backs, their spines and ribs reminding us of our own dry white bones, turning up someday in a UPS box at the home of an old friend who, after signing for the package, has to sit down a moment, then make another pot of coffee, and stare at the urn for a long time, turning it around and thinking of pulling off the lid, spilling the crumbling bones from the carefully labeled plastic bag onto the kitchen table, and running his hand through the dust. Filling his cup and thinking of times he shared coffee with the dust on the table, he wonders if he's doing it again. He thinks of pouring a bit of coffee onto the dust, thinks of sprinkling a bit into his own cup, thinks of licking the dust on his own fingers. Then he shudders and laughs, knowing that dust would be laughing now too, if it could. So since, I wanted to read this because Daryl was talking about it earlier. I've got two poems to go here. I wanted to read a couple Easter poems. The first is a very short one called Elder Emeritus. I wrote it for my dad. Here am I, busted, old, broken, like a broken old crucifix. How would you feel after Jesus hung on you that long? And I'll finish with my Easter poem I wrote on Easter called Jesus Sleeps In. He awoke to a dim, wet April wind, arched like a cold backache, and tinged red at the edges. Lovely, yes, in its way, but not the glorious day he envisioned of purple crocus, yellow daffodil, wet sunshine, fecund earth, dripping egg and seed. He, a bit stiff after the long weekend, with stinging raindrop cold, and tomb still warm and no umbrella handy, slept until late morning. Awakening later, somewhat peckish, he went forth, as you do, finding his disciples already off message, worshiping the crucifixes, miracles, saints, apostles, painted eggs and painted icons, chocolate, rabbits, marshmallow chicks, wine and bread, and a bit of transubstantiation, maybe, so long as you don't peek, and gold and power and death and death and death, and everyone safely back at temple, exchanging shekel for denarii. Redemption, the farthest thing from their minds. Thank you.